It's Kelly Marie, and thank you for joining me for another edition of Kelly's Kitchen. On today's show, I'll be showing you how to make my healthy and delicious steak and eggs, which features my cocoa steak, my faux fried potatoes and onions, my broiled tomatoes, and my poached eggs. Let's get started. Here's my steak that has been brining overnight in actually some Coca-Cola. I've actually used Coke Zero as this is for my grandmother, and we are concerned about her diabetes. So it also, as you can see, is garlic, rosemary, and some pepper. We've added the marinated steak to the pan, and we're going to, over medium heat, we're just going to allow them to brown for about 5 to 7 minutes on the first side, turn them, and then we will brown them on the other side. We have waited to apply any seasoning, specifically pepper and salt, until it has actually entered. Fried potatoes and onions. We have already prepped our zucchini and onion, which will serve as our faux potatoes, and the onion is actually underneath of here, all ready to be thrown into the pan. We're just going to throw that into a hot skillet and let that brown up and crisp up and become potato-like. Vegetables, before you actually begin cooking, will cut down on a lot of time. Here we have the onions all sliced for our steak that we're going to fry up, as well as some of the garlic that we're going to be using this morning. For the broiled tomatoes, we simply sliced a Roma tomato in half, topped it with a little bit of pepper, oregano, granulated garlic, and some olive oil that will go on. We have our faux fried potatoes. They've just been sauteing on about medium heat for about 5 to 7 minutes. That's a good time frame. They've already been crisped up and brown. Doesn't look like potatoes? Yummy, yummy. It takes been cooking for about 10 minutes, about 7 minutes on that side. And it's very good. The steak will let you know when it's ready to be canned. If it looks up easily, it is ready. So there we go with side two. Beautiful. We have our water to a rolling boil. We're just going to reduce the heat so that it's just simmering, because that's what you need. You need a nice gentle simmer for your poached egg. And Lord Jesus help me, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Our tomatoes are ready to go into the broiler. I have it under a low broil. And we are just going to set this on the top rack right underneath of the broiler. And we're just going to let them hang out for a while and get crispy. And get crispy and delicious. And give this a little bit of shake. I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing. And trust me, you won't even realize or regret that you're not eating the blood from the potatoes. Another way to do this is actually to add a small white potato, or even better for you, even healthier for you, is some sweet potato. Now, if you add the sweet potato or the white potato, you do want to add that first so that it has a chance to cook up before you add the zucchini and the squash and the onion, which cook a lot faster. And now that we are just about to remove our steaks from the pan, we just set them off to the side to the cool part of the pan. We're going to add our onions. We're going to add our onions first, and then we'll come back in a few minutes to add the rest of the garlic so that the garlic doesn't burn. We're also going to go ahead and just remove those steaks right out of that pan. And of course, as always, we're just going to cover these and let these stay warm for about 10 to 15 minutes. I've gone ahead and I've reduced the heat over the onions. And now that they've begun to take on a beautiful color here, I'm just going to go ahead and add my camera woman. We're just going to go ahead and add this small amount of garlic. It's just a little bit, but it will change this dish so dramatically. Add our water to a rolling boil. we're just going to reduce the heat so that it's just simmering, because that's what you need. You need a nice gentle simmer for your poached egg. And Lord Jesus help me, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Ah. And of course, with the poached egg, as soon as you drop it, you just want to come back in here. See what I'm saying? You see what I say about the whole products, even with the whole products. But that's a lot easier to separate the bay leaf, which had, of course, already come and tried to control and be a part of the poached egg. But yeah, so as soon as you drop it, you just want to begin to fold that white back over on top of the egg so that you get a nice compressed package there. And we're just going to let that, oh, I'm sorry, I think I may have turned my water down a little bit too much. So we're just going to get that back up, because again, you do want to have a little bit of a simmer. You don't want it to just sit there. If you see it like this, this is wrong. So we're just going to heat it back up for a minute. Heat it back up for a minute. See, there we go. Getting those nice gentle bubbles. Yes. So we're just going to let that hang out and prepare while we get the rest of our food together for our final plate. One of the beautiful broiled tomatoes that I've pulled out of the oven after about, again, maybe about 5 to 7 minutes. So if you're realizing what's going on here, 5 to 7 minutes is a good time for this breakfast. So it's not a very time-consuming breakfast. It's some prep work, but that's about preparation for plating. I've simply cut my steak into about a ½ inch thick slices after it has been allowed to rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's been cooking for a few minutes, and as you can see, it's nice. Still a little jiggly, because I don't like the white, I'm sorry. I don't like no jiggly white. All I want is a firm white with a soft yolk. That's it. So it's time to actually build the plate. This is one of my favorite sunshiny plates, favorite breakfast plates from my grandmother. So we're just going to begin, and I'm just going to start by just beginning to layer this meat, this delicious meat. And if you can notice, I hope you can see through the wonderful, wonderful world of television, of YouTube. This meat is perfectly cooked. It still has that beautiful pink center that we do also classify as medium well. Even medium, even to this point. It's not as pretty as I would like it to be. We're not a plater, I'm sorry. Okay, so I think that's good. We like meat. We like meat. We are going to then add some of this delicious Faux fried potatoes. This is really one of my grandmother's favorites. And I kind of sort of just adapted the recipe to a meal that she used to make for us, which was just sautéed zucchini and squash. And I've kind of not even updated it really, because honestly it is a very, very simple dish. But it just by changing the presentation, it changes the whole effect, and you can do so much more with it. Can't forget just gonna go ahead and add this beautiful tomato to it. Isn't that gorgeous? Look how wonderful that does. See the wonderful things that happens to that when you put it in the broiler. At this point, we're going to go ahead and add some of these wonderful fried onions that I prepared. This actually has this dish actually does have a lot of onions, a lot of garlic, all of these wonderful savory ingredients that just take it to a whole nother level. It gets even better. Now we're going to go ahead and call up that beautiful poached egg that we had. And we're going to top all of this off with just a little bit of balsamic vinegar, which is really going to put such tang and dazzle and pizzazz to our meal with all of the beautiful tanginess that it provides. I'm just going and do a little cleaning up because that was very messy of us. Apologies. But look at this beautiful meal that we prepared. There's our delicious steak, our wonderful fried onions, that beautiful sautéed zucchini and squash that make up our faux fried potatoes, that wonderful, delicious, slightly singed tomato that is, as you can see, just beginning to leak all of its juices and seeds on top of that hash. And then finally on top we have our poached egg, which of course when we cut into it, it's going to send a stream of beautiful, rich, luscious yolk all over the entire dish, and we'll just eat it all together. So I do thank you this morning for joining us for our new version of steak and eggs. It is very diabetic friendly. Basically, the only thing that you would worry about in this dish will be the tomato, which of course is high in sugar. But other than that, this is the perfect meal. Wouldn't this be something that you would like to get up and have one morning, or even be pleased to be served at a gourmet restaurant? Of course it is. Thank you for joining me today in Kelly's Kitchen. I hope your mouth is watering just waiting to try that recipe. And until the next time, remember, cook simply, cook healthy, and make it delicious. Be well.